name is Ted Rubin. I'm the Chief Social Marketing Officer for Open Sky, which is an e-commerce platform that enables people of influence to sell products from their website. And I'm also a social marketing advisor to a number of companies. I'm here with Todd Abrams, the Reluctant Daddy, thereluctantdaddy.com, and Todd and I met at Blog World Expo, and we really hit it off. It was just one of those things that we seem to see things a lot the same way. And as you know, I do a lot of work with mom bloggers, and I've been starting to talk a lot to dad bloggers. I've been involved in something called Dad's Talking, which if you check hashtag Dad's Talking on Twitter, you'll see a lot that's going on. And Todd is a gay dad, so I thought he'd be a great guy to bring into the mix.
Hey Ted, good to see you. Yes, I do write a blog, and the blog is about my experiences in LA, about being not necessarily a gay dad, but being a dad in general. And I think a lot of people respond to it, mommies respond to it, because I sort of can articulate sort of the rage that mommies have that they can't articulate themselves. I can say the things that mommies can't say. So they kind of like that. I started writing the blog about 2 years ago. And it all started when I was watching my kid play gymnastics. And I was sitting there with all the other mommies, and I said to myself, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? And I just started writing down my thoughts, and mommies just started reading it. So meeting you at Blog World was great, because you and I were like the only dads in a sea of women. It's like, wait a minute, you're a guy. You stop. So that was kind of great, and then we've kind of connected just about kind of living in this world of mommy bloggers, and we're dad bloggers. So we're few, but we're growing.
You know, I love the point of you being able to talk about things that mom bloggers can't feel comfortable to express, and I can totally relate to that. The first time I heard you say that, I said, you know, that is so perfect, because there's a lot of things that I read these blogs, I see things, and there are mom bloggers that get out there a little bit and they're a little bit edgy, but you're never really going to hear one say, oh my God, being a mom sucks, or I can't believe how boring it is, or I'm really going, they'll say, you know, I'm stuck in the house all day, I want to speak to adults, and I want my kid to be this big already, just so we can go and do stuff together. Or, I love when this kid was a baby, I can't stand going out to all these soccer matches and all these games and all these activities that are going on. I mean, I know when I was a kid, and I know that you're certainly not as old as I am, but you know,
not yet.
But you're a little bit older. When we used to just go out and play. And now everything is an activity. I mean, maybe you could speak to that a little bit. I would think in LA it might even be more that way.
You have no idea, because LA is playdate central. All of my child's activities are completely choreographed from beginning to end. We never just open the door and go, hey Ethan, go outside and go play, because he could get run over by a car, obviously. And we're all so nervous anyway. I think that what's difficult for women to really admit is a lot of this isn't fun. Schlepping your kid to, you know, carpool or soccer practice is not fun. And, you know, going with your children, and I'm going to talk about this for a second, when did parents start going to kids' birthday parties? When did that become okay? You know, my mother
Absolutely.
was, yeah, what was that all about? Like, when it was like, yes, you need to go there. And I'll give you an example. My son's first birthday party wound up looking like a bar mitzvah. There was like 150 people. I had to get catering. I had to get a bar. And I said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, so I said to Ethan, my son, is now you're 8 years old, you get 8 friends, and we go play laser tag, and no parent. So that was something that I feel is important, is that, you know, no one talks about that stuff. And I think that our generation of parents were told, the more you give the child, the better. And if you don't give your child everything they want, whenever they want it, it's tantamount to child abuse. And I can tell you, that's not the case.
You know, I'm really glad you brought that up, because we're going in the direction, I'm a divorced dad, and so I get certain times with my children and certain things, and I try to spend that time where my children learn how to react to other people, learn how to take care of themselves, learn how to do things they might not otherwise do, but do it with me, the things that I want to do with them, but not for me to do the kids' activities with them. I want them to ski with me, but I don't want to play their games with them and moderate it and be there. And when we were kids, we went out and played, and what I've learned, again, being a divorced dad, I've had to get very close to the schools, because you don't get a lot of information from the moms. Good divorce or bad divorce. You know, it's what you need to do. So I've gotten to know a lot of the administrators. And what I hear now, and what they lament about so much, is that children don't have problem-solving skills. They don't know how to fix problems. They get on the playground and there's a fight and no one knows what to do, because at home, mom or dad are totally on top of that situation. They're not outside playing. When we were young, we were outside playing. The bigger kids moderated the smaller kids, and every once in a while there was a crisis and mom had to come out. But I think kids just aren't learning how to take care of themselves. I was with a pretty well-known mom blogger, won't mention names right now, recently, and she was like, oh my God, I gotta run. I've got this crazy week coming up. I'm moving my daughter and my my son. And I'm like, how old are your daughter and your son? Well, her daughter's 20, her son's 23. I'm like, what are you doing moving them? Well, my daughter's coming home from college and my son's moving into his first apartment. I'm like, oh my God. Like, my parents moved me, the last time they ever did anything even close to that for me was freshman year of college, went up there. They wanted to wait and unpack, and I said, see ya. And from then on, I did all my own moving. I've never, ever, I've involved friends, I've involved people I've hired, but I've never had my parents come and move me again. And I just think that's endemic of everything that's happening here. And I think parents are writing resumes for kids. I think parents are helping them with their job interviews. And it's why once they get in, they're having so many problems staying with what they're doing or learning because they're going back to mom to help them do it. And even homework. I mean, I used to do my own homework. Mom would help when I had a problem, but like my kids, they do it on their own, thank God, but I hear them talking about how, well, Julie's mom wrote her whole paper for her, and, you know, I just think it's happening too much. So I'm really hoping to see some of this dissipate. And another myth that I think is going on, and maybe you could speak to this, is people think it's unsafe out there for children today.
Right.
Do you know that it's safer today than it ever was when we were growing up? But people don't think it's safe because of the internet, because of TV stations all over the world. You hear when a kid is kidnapped in Winnetka. You hear when a kid's kidnapped in Oklahoma. So you think it's happening more than it was, but it's actually happening a lot less. It's actually safer for kids to go outside and play today.
I think kids are really overly administrated. I think that, again, it gives mommy something to do. Gives daddy something to do. I think they like that. Right. It's a sense of control as well. Like I can control what's going on in my child's life. I'm a big believer, and I give my son a lot of freedom. And because he's not raised in a traditional mommy-daddy situation, because it's two men that are raising my son, we don't have any ground rules. So I feel very comfortable fucking up and going, you know what? I don't know the answer to this. It's like you're gonna have to solve this yourself. I don't know the answer.
Didn't your son just speak up with a major life decision at the age of 8?
He did. He confided in me that he was straight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he sort of took me aside and he said, look, I have something shocking I have to tell you, and I don't know if you're gonna be happy about it, but I'm straight. And you know, what do you say to a kid when they say that? You say, look, it's not, you relate to this, but I said to him, okay, look, I love you, it doesn't matter, you can be anything you want, you're straight. Although I did say to him, I will not watch ESPN, and my thing is, I keep saying, marry a rich girl. What I love about my son is that he's incredibly frank and incredibly honest, and he's his own man. And if he comes out of this his own man, I've done my job.
Todd, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I have to tell you that if there's anything that I would love to see is, and I talk to my daughters about this all the time, is I want them to be their own person. I want them to think for themselves. I don't want them to have my opinion. I don't want them to have mom's opinion. I want them to develop their own opinion, whatever that may be. Thanks a lot, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Look forward to it.
I want to do a two shot. You can see. Look at me.